Did you know that long before the Spanish set foot on the shores of Mexico, the land was home to some of the world's most advanced civilizations? Let's take a journey back in time to the ancient civilizations of Mesoamerica. The Olmec, often referred to as the Mother Culture, were the first major civilization in Mexico. They were renowned artists, creating colossal stone head sculptures that continue to mystify us today. The Maya, arguably the most famous, were master astronomers and mathematicians. They developed a complex calendar system and made significant advancements in writing. Then we have the city builders, the Teotihuacan and Toltec, who constructed architectural marvels like the Pyramid of the Sun and the Pyramid of the Moon. Lastly, the Aztec civilization, known for their intricate social, political and religious structures, and their capital city, Tenochtitlan, which was an engineering marvel. These ancient cultures laid the foundation for the complex tapestry of Mexico's history. In the early 16th century, the course of Mexico's history changed forever with the arrival of Spanish conquistador Hernán Cortés. Armed with superior weaponry and a relentless ambition, Cortés and his men embarked on a mission to conquer the New World. Their primary target, the mighty Aztec Empire, a civilization known for its grand cities and advanced society. The Aztecs, led by Emperor Montezuma II, initially welcomed the Spaniards, mistaking Cortés for a prophesied god. However, this misconception soon led to their downfall. Through a combination of warfare, disease, and alliances with local tribes oppressed by the Aztecs, the Spanish managed to topple the Aztec Empire in less than 2 years. In the aftermath, the Spaniards established New Spain, a colony that extended from present-day Central America to the southwestern United States. They introduced their language, religion, and customs, intertwining their culture with the indigenous one. Thus began a new era of Spanish rule, forever altering the cultural and societal landscape of Mexico. The Spanish colonial period shaped Mexico's society, economy, and culture in profound ways. At the heart of the colonial economy was the encomienda system, a labor regime where Spanish colonists were granted the right to demand tribute and labor from the indigenous population. This system, though brutal, laid the groundwork for Mexico's agricultural wealth, mining industry, and trade networks. Indigenous labor played a critical role in the colonial economy. They worked in fields, mines, and workshops, providing the manpower that fueled the colony's economic engine. However, their lives were marked by harsh conditions, exploitation, and resistance. The Spaniards also brought with them Christianity, which they spread throughout the colony. This not only changed the religious landscape, but also influenced art, education, and social customs. Over time, a mixed-race society began to emerge, blending indigenous, Spanish, and African elements in a process known as mestizaje. The colonial period left an indelible mark on Mexico, the effects of which can still be seen today. In the early 19th century, the winds of change began to blow across Mexico. A fervor for independence began to simmer among the populace, kindling a revolution that would change the course of history. The Mexican War of Independence, a decade-long struggle from 1810 to 1821, was a tumultuous period, marked by fierce battles and heroic figures. One of these figures was Miguel Hidalgo, a Roman Catholic priest who sparked the flame of rebellion with his famous Grito de Dolores. Then there was José María Morelos, a skilled military strategist who took the reins after Hidalgo's execution. And finally, Agustín de Iturbide, a royalist military officer who switched sides, leading Mexico to its final victory. Their collective efforts culminated in a triumphant moment in 1821, when Mexico finally severed its colonial ties to Spain. Mexico's hard-fought struggle for independence reshaped its identity and destiny. With independence came the challenge of nation building. This was a principle that rang true for Mexico in the early 19th century. Following the hard-fought victory in the War of Independence, Mexico had to grapple with its newfound sovereignty and the complexities that came with it. In 1821, the first Mexican empire was established under the rule of Agustín de Iturbide, who declared himself emperor. However, Iturbide's reign was short-lived. His imperial ambitions, coupled with political instability and economic challenges, led to widespread discontent. By 1823, the empire was dissolved and replaced with the First Mexican Republic, marking the country's first attempt at a democratic government. But the path to democracy was far from smooth. The young republic faced its share of hurdles, including power struggles, regional conflicts, and social inequality. Yet through all the trials and tribulations, Mexico remained steadfast. It was a nation in the making, finding its footing amidst the chaos of change. Despite the turbulence, Mexico persevered, laying the groundwork for a democratic republic. The mid-19th century brought another challenge to Mexico, a war with its northern neighbor. This conflict, known as the Mexican-American War, erupted in 1846 and lasted until 1848. Steeped in territorial disputes and political unrest, it was a dramatic chapter in the history of both nations. The end of the war was marked by the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. This diplomatic agreement mandated that Mexico cede a vast stretch of land to the United States. The territory in question included what we now know as California, Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas. This massive land concession amounted to nearly half of Mexico's territory at the time, a significant loss that had profound implications for the nation's future. The Mexican-American War and the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo not only changed the territorial boundaries of Mexico and the United States, but also left a lasting impact on their relations. This pivotal event reshaped the map of North America and left a lasting legacy. The late 19th century was a time of reform and modernization in Mexico. This era, known as the Reforma, was led by one of Mexico's most esteemed figures, President Benito Juárez. Born into poverty and of Zapotec heritage, Juárez's rise to power was nothing short of extraordinary. During his presidency, Juárez initiated a series of liberal reforms that aimed to modernize Mexico and strengthen its young republic. These reforms were designed to reduce the power of the Catholic Church and the military, while promoting civil liberties and laying the foundation for a democratic state. One of the most significant measures was the Ley Lerdo, which called for the redistribution of church and municipal lands to create a class of small landowners. This in turn led to a boost in agriculture and a surge in the economy. Additionally, Juárez made education compulsory, secular, and free of charge, paving the way for an educated and enlightened citizenry. These reforms set the stage for a new chapter in Mexico's history. The turn of the 20th century brought with it a wave of revolutionary fervor. Mexico, under the iron grip of Porfirio Díaz, was no exception. Díaz's long dictatorship, known as the Porfiriato, was marked by economic growth and modernization. However, it was also a period of stark social disparities and political repression, which eventually led to a nationwide clamor for change. This clamor culminated in the Mexican Revolution, a decade-long struggle from 1910 to 1920. A myriad of figures emerged during this tumultuous period, including Francisco Madero, Emiliano Zapata, and Pancho Villa, each with their own vision for a new Mexico. The revolution was a brutal and chaotic affair, but it was also a crucible for change. Out of the ashes of conflict, a new constitutional order was established. It promised land reform, labor rights, and a more democratic governance. The Mexican Revolution marked a turning point, bringing profound social and political changes. In the aftermath of the revolution, Mexico faced the challenge of Reconstruction. The nation was in shambles, with its political and social systems needing a complete overhaul. A pivotal aspect of this reconstruction was land reform. The government embarked on a massive redistribution of land, aiming to give more power to the rural poor. Equally important was the establishment of labor rights, ensuring safe working conditions and fair wages for all Mexican workers. However, these reforms didn't occur in a vacuum. They were part of a broader consolidation of power by the Institutional Revolutionary Party, or PRI. Under leaders like Lázaro Cárdenas, the PRI became the dominant political force in Mexico, shaping the nation's policies and direction for much of the 20th century. Despite the challenges, this post-revolutionary period was a time of significant change and growth. This period laid the foundation for modern Mexico. Today, Mexico stands at a crossroads, grappling with both challenges and opportunities. It's a country where the contemporary issues of political corruption, drug trafficking, and violence often make headlines. Yet these are only part of the story. Poverty and inequality persist, but they sit alongside the country's cultural richness and economic potential. Mexico's vibrant culture, steeped in a history that dates back to ancient civilizations, is a testament to its resilience and adaptability. Its economy, while facing hurdles, is teeming with potential, buoyed by a young and increasingly educated workforce. On the global stage, Mexico plays a significant role as a member of the G20, a group of the world's largest economies. It stands as a bridge between the developed and developing world, between North and South America, between past and future. Despite its challenges, Mexico's rich history and vibrant culture make it a fascinating country with a promising future.